I think we can all agree that the Audi R8 is a pretty awesome car. It's got the mid-engine proportions, the performance, that V10, it's pretty awesome. But when this Gen 2 R8 first came out, I admit I didn't immediately fall in love with the car. As a Gen 1 R8 owner and somebody who's been lucky to drive a bunch of R8s across the lineup, I didn't drive the car and go, oh my God, I want to buy one right now. But as time has gone on, my tastes have evolved slightly, what I look for in cars has changed a bit, and I bought this R8 RWS. And obviously, the highest endorsement I can really give a car is to buy it myself. This is my car. But it's not perfect, and there are some things I dislike about it, some things that I actually kind of hate about the car. So today we're going to talk about 5 things I hate about my R8 RWS. All right, we're on the road now. So that's actually one of the things I hate about this car. The first one that comes to mind, and I don't know how well conveyed over this audio recorder and the mic, but it doesn't sound quite as good as I need it to sound. It's a little quiet, and by a little quiet I mean actually a lot quiet. I've been describing that the base R8 exhaust V10 sounds as if a Huracan is accelerating 3 miles behind me, because it's the same tone, the same kind of cracks and pops, just subdued, way too subdued. Like, it's good. I mean, the engine's right back there. It's good. But from outside and stuff, I mean, I just need a little bit more. I might be a little spoiled because my first R8 had an exhaust on it, and I spent time in, like, Mike's Pista with a pretty much straight piped. I've driven Performantes and things like that. They're a lot louder, and it doesn't quite do it for me. The one time where I got this car to actually sound so good that I was like, oh, that was good. My girlfriend and I were in the car, we're in downtown Chicago, went through a tunnel, and it popped, and through that tunnel it actually sounded quite good. But this V10 just wants to be opened up. That's the first thing that I hated about this car, but luckily it is very, very easily remedied. I'm gonna put an exhaust on this car. It's getting a titanium B-Rogue built exhaust. I am keeping the valve functionality because I still want it to be quiet on a daily basis. But even in full dynamic mode, sport, everything, just full out loud, it's not quite there. Got the cracks and pops, but it's a little quiet. And I would say this is a supercar, the way it looks, the way it performs, it needs a little bit more, and I will soon fix the sound part, but stock, I don't really like the base one. V10 Plus sounds fabulous. I mean, those things are loud. It sounds like a Huracan. I mean, they're almost exactly the same. So V10 Plus with the sport exhaust button, absolutely. The base one, come on, Audi. This is still a 540 horsepower mid-engine R8. Why didn't you make it louder? Why? At least give me an option for that. The next thing is the frunk. The frunk is tiny. Now, this is universally applied to all mid-engine V10s on this platform, so the R8 and the Huracan, all of them. It's minuscule. Now, I know why. The all-wheel drive system eats into it, but then that's also a lame excuse because Porsches are all-wheel drive. They've got huge front trunks, and this one is rear-wheel drive, so come on, give me a bigger trunk. If you go to a 458 or like the McLarens, their front trunks are cavernous, just massive. You could actually put like carry-on bags, you can put groceries in there, and then you hop in like a Huracan to this R, you're like, what is this puny thing? You could barely fit like a backpack. A carry-on case will not fit. My Pelican case for camera equipment will not fit in this front trunk. Yes, I know it's a mid-engine 2-seater R8, and it's not meant to be practical. People are going to be like, well, you should have bought an RS6 or kept your RS7 or buy a Q7 or whatever. But like, I've taken this on 3 road trips now. I've taken it to from Arizona all the way out to, actually, I don't want to take Lake Cook Road. Lake Cook sucks. I'm going to keep going. I've taken it from LA to Arizona. I've driven it to Michigan back and forth a couple times. I've gone downtown in this car plenty of times. Not the most practical. Do have a little shelf behind the seats. You can put stuff there. I've got my tripod back there, my tripod and slider, but the front trunk is kind of tiny, and just knowing the rear-wheel drive one, I know they wouldn't have redesigned it, but it's still, eh. Next one is, there is not a single piece of carbon fiber on this car from the factory. Not a single piece of carbon. For 150 grand, you're like, wait a second, aren't there like Honda Civic Type Rs that have carbon fiber all over them? No, this one doesn't have any carbon fiber. You could option it on the RWS. There was an interior carbon pack that would do the surround here, some of the air vent surrounds and carbon fiber. It was like $4,000 or $5,000. This one does not have it, which honestly, like I say, this is one of the ones I dislike. I don't really hate. It's not a huge deal, but it's just kind of funny that at 150 grand, you couldn't put some carbon fiber on this car. Come on, like all the exterior stuff is all painted. Yeah, not a huge deal, but it's something I think is absolutely worth mentioning. If you go out and buy yourself a lower tier R8 like this is, and you find it with no carbon fiber, I don't want you to be surprised. It's a thing that happened here. The next thing is, I feel that this car is a little behind on some of the tech features. Now, this is already a huge step up from the Gen 1 and Gen 1 refresh. That literally was using like an Audi, what do they call it? AMI, Audi Media Interface. It wasn't even MMI, I think. It was horrible. Like, you didn't have Bluetooth play music. It used a stupid little adapter dongle. Mine, I had a ancient iPod Touch from when I was in elementary school that I just barely was able to run Spotify on it, and it was very, very old. That interior felt dated. So this is already a big step up, but it's still missing a lot of things that competitors and other vehicles in the marketplace had. Blind spot warning. Mid-engine cars are terrible for blind spots. You've got just these giant pillars back there in an engine, and it's hard to see. Doesn't have that, doesn't have front lift, doesn't have cooled seats, and like, am I being nitpicky? Yes, but I just spent some time with a C8 Corvette that held all of those things. Heads-up display, digital rearview mirror, front cameras, like cooled seats, heated steering. Like, it had everything, and that car cost half as much as this car. So it's like, come on, at least give me blind spot warning. I don't know why these things were put into these cars. Like, I'm not really sure, but it feels like there was a little bit of a technology gap in some of these features. You just don't get in these cars. They just weren't available. It wasn't a matter of cost and paying for them. They just decided not to put it into this architecture, which, yeah, I'm complaining. This is first world problems and an R8 V10 that, oh my God, I don't have blind. Whoa, that's a Rolls-Royce Phantom. Hello. Yeah, oh my God, I don't have blind spot warning, but you know, I'm making a video about 5 things I hate about my car, and by definition, I get to complain about random things in this video. I will say though, there is one good thing. This is a 2018, so I do have Apple CarPlay. Thank goodness. The 2017, the Gen 1, so like my friend Matt, Off-White R8, his V10 Plus does not have Apple CarPlay. Apparently you can retrofit it. So the computer can support it and everything, but you got to pay the dealer like $350 to get Apple CarPlay on your 2017. Gen 1s obviously didn't even know what Apple CarPlay was back then. This one does have Apple CarPlay, pulls up in the center display there, just plug my phone in. There's no infotainment screen in the middle, you just have virtual cockpit. So that is one saving grace, that thankfully I do have Apple CarPlay, and that makes me a little bit happier. I'm not complaining about the tech in this car. It's good, like it's good. But for when brand new, 150 grand up to this, these complaints apply to a $200,000 R8 V10 Plus. Come on. Next up is this one's a little bit just annoying, and I knew it going into buying the car, so it wasn't a huge deal for me, but somebody who bought an RWS new could be quite irritated. This is the first rear-wheel drive Audi essentially ever, in many decades ever, right? Audi's known for Quattro, and the ones that aren't Quattro are usually front-wheel drive because they're all badge Volkswagens. But limited 999 in the world. There is literally a plaque on my dash that says 1 of 999. These cars are not serialized. They don't say number whatever of 999, but it is limited to 999 rear-wheel series R8s across the world. 320 came to America. You would be like, this is awesome. There was a limited edition R8. They've done these before, like the GT, the competition, things like that. I forget all the exact names for the limited R8s, but Audi then made the rear-wheel drive R8 completely no longer special anymore by making the refresh of this car rear-wheel drive standard. So this is a Gen 2, 2017, 2018, and then I think it's 2020, whatever the new ones, they changed the front end, rear end styling and went to the performance instead of plus. The base car is rear-wheel drive. It's not badged as anything, there's nothing special, but it just kind of eliminated some of the draw of this car, right? You can say I have the limited rear-wheel series. It's a pure rear-wheel drive R8, which is something Audi hasn't done before. And then they went, nah, we're going to take that away. It's no longer special. This one, do I hate it? No, because I bought this car used, so it wasn't a huge deal. If you bought this car brand new, I could see being a little bit irritated. Like, hey, I just got this special limited edition car. Now it's no longer special anymore. You feel that shove come on at like 5,500 RPM. So yeah, that is something that I would be cognizant of. It's not the end of the world to me, but I think it's worth mentioning and it's kind of amusing. The last one, I've covered all of them that I really hate about this car and I dislike greatly. Some of them you can tell I can fix. The exhaust, definitely. The tech stuff, you just learn to live with it, right? I let my girlfriend drive this recently, and she goes, wait, there's no blind spot warning. I'm like, nope, you just got to be real careful. And she goes, okay, so I pick a lane and I stay in that lane. I'm like, yeah, you could do that. Front lift, I mean, you just be very careful. The aftermarket front lip on this car has been pretty scraped up. I've been luckily pretty careful with it, but these are just things about the Gen 2 R8. Overall, I still love this car. Obviously, if I hated it that much, I wouldn't have bought it, and we're just nitpicking now for fun to make this video. These always spark some views and some amusing comments. The last one is worth mentioning, not as something I hate, it's just a factor. They are a bit stiffer of dampers, 10% stiffer fixed Bilstein dampers on the rear wheel series. Those are a couple of the tweaks they did. Obviously, getting rid of power to the front wheels, no front diff up there, losing some weight, a little bit more negative camber. They fixed steering, I think. No dynamic steering is available. So the dampers are a little stiff, and it's a combination of the fact that roads in the Midwest are garbage. I left Michigan to come to Illinois, Chicago. The roads are no better. It's mostly potholes, spaced out with a little bit of road, and it's horrible. This is on 20-inch wheels, so lower profile tires. Anyways, if you're looking for Mercedes S-Class Magic Cloud ride, it's not going to be that, right? It's a little bit bouncy at times. Not as bad as something like a Porsche GT3 RS, but not as good as something like a McLaren 650S or something with the hydraulic suspension. So a little bit of a trade-off there. Not as good as the mag ride either. I don't know why they got only magnetic ride is available in the mid-tier one, I think, because I think the V10 Plus gets rid of mag ride in America, which always confused me. Regardless, those are some of the things I hate about my Audi R8. Still love the car, absolutely love the car. We'll be doing more videos with it. A couple mods are coming very soon. I can't hate it that much because I've put 3,000 miles on the car in 2 months, almost doubled what the first two owners put on this car. They only drove it 4,000 miles. I bought this car to drive, so it's been effectively my daily driver when I didn't have a press car or when the Shelby 350R was not out. Those are some of the things. If you agree or disagree, own an R8, driven one before, comment below. Go check out the why did I buy this video, why did I buy an R8. Again, this is my second R8 V10. You can also go watch the video that I did of taking delivery. That was quite a fun day too. But with that, we will conclude this video on some of the things that I hate about my Audi R8 RWS. Thanks for watching, guys.